Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to a very special Rotor Talk Live. I am joined by the two heads of state of ZinoNation, President Ron Brown and President Marcus Crawford. Gentlemen, how are you today?
Perfect.
Well,
Awesome.
I'm doing well, but my partner here is a little under the weather today, so excuse his scratchy throat. But we're gonna muddle through this, and we may have to be changing the name of our show, the Mavic Mini Nation, if things go well.
Well, you know, we all know the Mavic Minis come out, and one of the things that I want to do right away, because we're not gonna have this be a terribly long show today. I want to go over the specifications officially from DJI's website. So let me go over to that right now. Now, you know, there wasn't really, and then we're going to talk about what we think were surprises and not surprises and all that kind of good stuff. So let's do this. Okay, now we're sharing here. Okay. Aircraft, the weight that we know, it's 249 grams. And that's obviously without, you know, anything like the prop guards on it. That's definitely gonna raise that up here.
Bill, can I stop you for a second? Go back up to the weight again. So it's only 199 grams in Japan. It's lighter there,
right? And I think that's because of the battery.
Oh, good point. I'm sorry, I jumped the gun there. On the battery thing,
that was good.
But, okay, go ahead. I'm sorry to stop you.
Okay, no. You know, and these are, you know, and you can browse through these at your leisure. Maximum service ceiling above sea level, 3,000 meters. A maximum flight time, 30 minutes measured while flying at 14 kph in windless conditions. 18 minutes for JP, which is Japan. We're going to assume on there. Maximum wind speed resistance, 8 meters a second, scale 4. Those are some things here. Operating frequency. Now you can tell here, and I already discussed this with Ron and Marcus, is I believe because enhanced Wi-Fi is different in the United States than it is in other countries. So I think there's two models of the controller right here is what you're seeing. And you could see the different frequencies on the models of the controller here as well.
But Bill, you just to stop people, make sure they understand, they're going to get the proper model of controller for their country. They won't, it's not something they'll ever have to pick or decide.
Yes, that's a good point, Ron. You can see the gimbal. It has the range on it right here. Stabilization. It is a 3-axis gimbal, which a lot of people had been talking about. The sensing system.
Can I stop again just for I hate
thing.
to ruin your role here,
Ron.
But that controllable range, that tilt angle, is that tilt angle like all the way down or all the way up, or is that just a standard tilt angle of most DJI
I think
drones?
that's a standard tilt angle, Ron,
Okay.
because it's like minus 90 degrees to plus 20 degrees extended. So I think that's just standard.
Yeah, I don't know what the standard numbers are. I just wonder if you knew that was anything better or worse than we're seeing out of a typical DJI drone, like we'll say the Mavic Air. The Mavic Air, for instance.
Mavic Air, right.
Okay.
Now the sensing system, downward operating range, 0.5 to 10 meters. Operating
pretty
environment.
Standard.
Non-reflective, discernible surfaces. In other words, not over water. Diffuse reflectivity, adequate lighting, lux greater than 15. In other words, you have to have some lighting, and it does have. We're gonna get into precision landing here in a minute. The camera, which we'd all been talking about, and you know, wanting to get the information on it. The ISO range for still photos. That again, I think that's pretty standard. But where everybody was really interested in, the video resolution is 2.7K. Now, if you watch Kelly Shore's video, and we're going to talk about this here in a minute, you got to see he did some comparisons between this, the Mavic Air, the Spark, the Mavic 2 Pro, the Mavic 2 Zoom, and really hard to tell a big difference between all of these right here.
Hey, Bill, before you move on, why the 25 frame rate? I mean, 25 frame rate is a European frame rate. 24 frame rate is a cinematic movie frame rate for the U.S. Why isn't that offered here? Why the European standard of 24?
I don't know, Ron. That's a good question.
I mean, in software you can always down res it to 24, but in the U.S., 24 is the appropriate film quality frame rate. 25 is meant for Europe. I mean,
for Europe,
drones like the Anafi have the choice of the 24 or 25 since they're an international drone. So that strikes me as a little odd there.
You know, that may be something that we may end up seeing in an update. Real quick, I want to welcome Mark Proskovic, Brad Hendo, DeMarco's here, Air Photography's here, David Winter, Kolsky RC, welcome. Thanks for joining this afternoon. Saigon 98 Drone Fix. Lauren's with us today, and Droney Boy is here. All right. We'll finish up here. Remote controller and video transmission. You can see the operating frequency. Again, we're talking about, what the right one for your right country is. Ron brought up, which I think is a very good point. There's some specs I think you'll probably just want to dive into it. The battery capacity, 2,600 milliamps. They're talking about the remote controller right here. Operating current voltage, supported device mobile size, live view quality, 720p, 30 frames per second. Video transmission system is enhanced Wi-Fi. Latency 170 to 240 ms, which that sounds good. Looking at the charger, 100 to 240 volts. Again, that's based on your country. The output here, and then the rated power is 18 watts. Intelligent flight battery. It has 2,400 milliamps, voltage, lithium ion, so forth. And then it talks about the intelligent flight battery, obviously for Japan, 1,100 milliamps, which is different here. The app is a brand new app. It's DJI Fly. And then we talk about the supported SD cards here. And again, all this information is going to be out on DJI's website. Gentlemen, I wanted to get your opinions. First thing I wanted, what surprised you? What didn't surprise you?
I guess I'll go first. I guess surprised me that every rumor that we talked about in the last 48 hours was basically true. And the thing that surprised me was that, nobody even talked about bit rate, but it surprised. I mean, I didn't expect 100 bit rate, but I didn't expect 40 either. And I know that's a concern from our friend over at Coast to Coast Drones, Bill Thomas. Are you scared or were you surprised by the slow bit rate, Bill or Marcus?
No, I wasn't, because of the size of the drone. Go ahead, Marcus.
Yeah, no, I kind of think the same thing. And like Kelly Shores said in his introduction video, don't buy this thinking you're going to get a full-size Mavic, because it's just not. That's not what it is. What I am impressed with is the speed. 13 meters per second comes out to roughly 30 miles an hour, maybe a little bit less. So this thing, you'll be able to, if you want to go out and look at something, you'll be able to fly it out and look at something. The camera quality, I think, is good enough for its intended purpose. And the portability is the big thing for me. And of course, that wasn't a surprise. But when you see the picture that they hold up, and of course, this is a bigger phone, but when they put that thing and they set it on top of their cell phone and fold it up, it's the size of the phone. That gives you the idea of how portable it is. And it's going to be so easy to travel with. And we've all talked about that before. That, I think, is a huge deal. I'm really pleased that I'll have something that I can just so casually take with me and fly. And as we've talked about before, the fact that it will not be terribly obtrusive. People will look at it. You'll pull this little thing out of your pocket. Nobody's going to freak out that you've got a big drone out spying on them, and you'll be able to put it in the air and go have some fun with it.
Well, for me, I would say the thing that probably didn't surprise me at all was the actual price point, because there had been talk about tariffs getting involved here. The $399, the $499, which I thought was good. And one of the things that I'm really pleased at is, and one of the things I want to tell everybody, I've had a chance to watch. I was able to get in about four of the videos out there. Rick Smith has 3 videos out on Drone Valley. Kelly Shores has one. iPhone Do has one out there, and Potato Jet has one out there as well, from what I've seen. I didn't get a chance to watch all of them. I did watch Kelly's from front to back, and I was very impressed with Kelly's video, especially he had it up in the wind, and that had been a big concern of a lot of people. And I know my friend Lauren from up in Canada, had said, you know, it looks like it's going to hold very well in the wind, and that's true. That was very true. You know, I have to say that was one of the things that impressed me. One of the things that was a surprise to me was availability in terms of shipping. That the drone by itself will ship sooner than the drone with the fly more kit. So I found that Best Buy had them available, and it will be available for in-store pickup on the 11th. And I also verified this is not just here in the United States. This is over in the UK too. My good friend Ian Jones from over in the UK. If you're watching, hey Ian, how you doing? Inform me as well. His will be available for pickup on the 11th as well. So, you know, that's something I would, you know, if you're wanting to get it sooner, that would be something I would suggest that you might want to take a look at here. You know, again, and I think Kelly did very well on this, where he said, you know, and I think, you know, Marcus, I think you brought it up, you know, don't expect a Mavic 2 from this, okay? You're not getting a Mavic 2 Pro or a Mavic 2 Zoom or a Phantom 4 Pro quality here. You're getting something that is portable, that you can get up in the air easily, that is just, it will be super easy to fly. I like that. Gentlemen, what do you think of the new app?
Bill, I want to reference a couple points you just went over before we move on to the app.
Sure.
Well, number one, I want to say, in my feed, iJustine's video came up before anybody else's, and she called it her favorite drone already. And number two, I checked on Amazon about an hour ago, and it wasn't available to purchase on Amazon yet. Do you think it will become available on Amazon in the near future? Or do you think we'll have to wait a while, Bill?
I think we'll have to wait a while, because I think Best Buy probably got preferential treatment from DJI.
Yeah,
I really do. And you know, Best Buy's had a resurgence, and that's a whole nother topic in and of itself.
Right. Well, I don't want to belabor it, but I just wanted to. Have you looked recently? Is it still? It hasn't sold out any place yet. Can you still buy it right now on DJI and Best Buy? Or
I haven't been out there.
I'll check after the show and
yeah,
update.
let us know.
Well, I'll keep a tab all day long to see if it ever gets in the sold out status or whatever.
Yeah, that's going to be interesting.
Yeah,
it's also going to be interesting to know too. Now, what I did was, on a lot of those options that show that they weren't available, the accessories, I filled out to be notified by email on all of them. You know, initially, because I had ordered it directly from DJI, and I just went in and canceled my order and ordered it from Best Buy, and shows available for pickup on the 11th. One of the questions I have for both Ron and Marcus is, what do you think of this new DJI Fly app?
So the app really, it clearly is a pretty simplified version of the Go4 app. You know, from what I've seen on iPhone's introduction and Kelly's introduction, you know, it's going to be familiar to us. Anybody that flies a drone is going to get that figured out pretty good. But just the basic droney, circle, helix, and rocket is what are the intelligent flight modes. Interestingly enough, on iPhone Doe's introduction, he said that it is capable of tracking in the intelligent flight modes. He put it in one of the flight modes, and it had a box around him, and he walked around and the drone followed him. So you would think it would be pretty easy for DJI to add a follow me mode to this drone. I wonder if they didn't do it because they know it's an entry-level product, and they're afraid that people will walk their drone into a tree or something. Just thinking out loud, guys.
Good points, Marcus. You know, or maybe they could get it to somehow it knew it had the prop guards on, and then it would go into follow mode. But no, I see why they did this app. I mean, you know, for first time drone users or first time DJI owners, they won't notice that anything's missing from the app, and so I think they're counting on a lot of new people to buy it. I don't know if they're right or wrong on that, because so far all I know is a bunch of old guys like us are buying it. But you know, I don't think it'll bother me that I don't have the standard DJI Go app there. I'm losing some of the features. I'm not a big user of the intelligent features anyways. I usually just fly I hate to say full manual because it's a GPS drone, but you know what I mean. I just fly. I hardly ever use any modes anyway, so it won't make any difference to me. What do you think, Bill?
I don't think so either, Ron. You know, I think they did this with the express. They give it. It's really a watered down version of the DJI Go 4 app. Is really basically what we have here. And you know, I hate to use the word dumbed down, but I think that's what they've done, because I think you're going to get a lot of people are going to be getting this under the tree for Christmas or in stockings. And you're going to get a lot of first time people who have never flown a drone before. So I think it's going to be important for them to be able to get it up in the air quickly. And in order to do that, you're going to need to have a simplified app. I mean, it's just, I think that's just the way it is. I mean, you know, these days you don't want to get it overly complicated. One of the things that I really liked in watching Kelly's, because I spent the most time watching that. I'm going to go back and watch Rick's. I love Rick. And I think we kind of called it last night on the show, Marcus. With Rick, we hit Rick and Kelly, but Billy didn't get one. So, but one of the things that I liked is the ability you can charge things from that battery pack. Okay. I like that capability. I think that's going to be an absolutely perfect method of being able to charge things, like maybe if you need to charge your phone or, you know, another device. It showed that you can charge the controller with it as well. So I think that's going to be good. One of the downsides that Kelly pointed out was there's no, there's no lights on the batteries themselves. The only way you know their charging status is when you put it in that charging hub. So what are your thoughts on that? I mean, you know, that's something that's really kind of different.
Yeah, but Bill, I'm going to jump in real quick. Are these smart batteries? Will they discharge themselves after 10 days, or is these just dumb batteries where, you know, you better fly the thing if you charge the batteries up?
That's a good question, Ron. I don't know that yet. Kelly didn't talk about that, and I'm probably going to rewatch Rick's video, his second video, because he went into some detail about the battery. So I think we find some good information from that as well.
Yeah. As far as not having the dots on it or whatever, I mean, you know, the button to push, I mean, that's good when you're in the house or whatever, but when you're in the field, of course, the app's going to show you the battery level. So, I mean, you know, that's only important when you're home. You wonder, you know, if the battery is charging out, and, you know, big deal. So you plug it in, and if the lights start going, then you know you need to charge. If the lights don't start going, then you know it's charged. I mean, it's nice to have the buttons, but that's certainly not. I mean, I have a lot of toy drones that don't have the buttons, and it's a minor inconvenience or whatever to save all that money on the price. Like I'd rather save $100 on the price of a drone than have batteries that light up.
I agree. And, you know, and you guys will probably follow my thinking here is, you know, when you put the battery in and you bring up the DJI Go 4 app, it tells you how much is in the battery right there. So, you know, right away when you open up the app and power the remote and the drone on, you know how much power you have already. I mean, there's no, you know, it's kind of a double, it's redundancy kind of a thing. It's real nice to have that, but not having it here is not a showstopper. It's not something that, I don't, because it doesn't have that, I'm not going to get it kind of a thing.
Well, the version I have has it. Hey, a couple things I noticed in the chat here. Frank Colick is saying that lithium-ion batteries don't need to discharge. That's good to know. And Brad Hendo is saying that the website says it's a smart battery.
Okay, that's good.
Or intelligent flight battery.
Intelligent flight battery. Okay, so
it doesn't have the lights. And listen, Bill, I mean, we talked already before. This is intended for pros. I mean, pros, they need to know their battery charge because they're going out in jobs that they're getting paid for. You know, they may have a whole bag of batteries. They don't have time to check each one or whatever. But this drone's I call it a park flyer or whatever. I mean, if you go to the park and you're going to shoot some video of you riding your skateboard and your battery's not fully charged, it's not the end of the day. You don't lose the job. You don't lose the shot or whatever. Perfect. You know what I mean? It's not as important for somebody to make an Instagram video of them riding their skateboard at the park as it is somebody going out in a pro shoot. So the batteries that light up is a pro feature, not a we'll call a beginner drone feature.
That's spot on, Ron. That was very well said. You know, the other thing that I wanted to touch on with this is, you know, taking a look, and I wanted to go back because, you know, uh, Kelly's did a great comparison video where, you know, he had all his drones up there, and it was the same scene at the same height at the same angle. And really, looking at those things, probably the worst of those was looking at was the original Mavic Pro. I actually thought that the Mavic Mini looked better than the Mavic Pro's video in that instance.
Yeah,
right
well,
there.
you're exactly right, Bill. The Mavic Pro did look the worst, but to look the worst on auto features or whatever.
Right.
And if you're, I mean, I get the people that are going to get this Mavic Mini are just going to put auto on or whatever. But if you buy the Mavic Pro, even the first Mavic Pro, you probably know a little bit about photography. So you know not to just shoot it on auto or whatever. I guarantee you, if I took that Mavic Pro and I you know put the settings in I wanted, it would look better than than it did up there.
True.
Yeah,
Very
I
true.
mean, that's the problem. When people test stuff on full auto, whatever, I mean, I know why they're doing it because they don't want to give something the advantage over the other. But I mean, that's also doing a disservice to all the drones because, you know, even if I took the world's most expensive regular camera and put it in auto, I could beat it with a lesser camera by juicing the settings up.
Yeah.
And
Oh yeah.
so, I mean, again, nobody trying to get good photography shoots on auto.
No, you're gonna you want to get in there, and I think probably one of the best tutorials I think I've seen was, and our friend Original Dobo, he did a great one. I think it was on the settings for the Mavic Pro, and he made it so simple and so straightforward that if you know you don't need to use auto, you go in there and you put these settings in, and it comes out like it should every time. You know, he did a great job with that. You know, gentlemen, do you have any other thoughts on this?
Well, I would like to speak to our viewers here real quick, Bill. If everybody would do Bill a favor, he's you know, putting on this good show for us. Hit that thumbs up button if you would. I see we've had some probably less than happy people hit the thumbs down, but let's give Bill some good thumbs up. We've got 44 people in here, so let's support the guy that's supplying this information for us.
Thank you, Marcus. Storm Rider asked, could you tell me when the DJI Fly app will be available? That's a good question, Storm Rider. You know, I would say probably the 11th, because the 11th is what I'm seeing not only on Best Buy, but as I talked to one of my friends over in the UK, that's kind of like a universal release date around the world. So my guess is it will be available on the 11th. The other thing is, can you use the DJI Go app, DumTube? I don't think you'll be able to. I think it's a proprietary app. I think it's going to be the DJI Fly app is what you're going to see here. One of the things that I haven't seen is firmware updates, because I know that's something that I'm sure everybody's going to ask the question right away. Is this, you know, how do you do firmware updates on this? But I'm sure that DJI, you know, I looked, DJI has some videos out there at 9 a.m. I didn't get to see if they had one on the firmware update process, but I got to imagine, especially since this is going to be a first-time drone for a lot of people, that it's going to be a very simple process to do firmware updates with this.
Well, DJI does everything right. We know that. So, like you, Bill, I'm sure, and because of the intended use, they're not going to make it complicated for first-time drone users. They want to bring them into the DJI ecosphere, and you know, it's in their best interest to make this thing as easy and as simple to use for them as they can.
Gentlemen, closing thoughts here. Ron.
You know, we got what we expected today. I mean, almost all the rumors came true. I mean, we didn't know the bit rate. I don't think I even heard any rumors about the bit rate. So, you know, no surprises. It is what we thought it was. Is like a football term or whatever. Some famous football coach said it is what it is. But you know, again, I know the two teams. She seemed to love it, and Kelly loved it or whatever. You know, I don't know if it's, if it's a drone I'm going to have long term. I mean, I didn't buy the fly more kit because if this thing flies for 30 minutes, I'm never going to put the second battery in and fly for 60 minutes. I mean, again, again, it's what expensive. I can't say I'm underwhelmed, but I just don't know where this comes into play outside the ultra portability for somebody that has more advanced drones. Marcus?
Yeah, so similar to what you're saying, Ron, I guess for me the big deal is the portability, and I learned that with the Spark, particularly when you're on an aircraft flying someplace. That Spark was so easy just to throw in a backpack, and you had your whole kit and you could go. And I see this as the same way. In other words, I'm going on a vacation. It's not primarily to take drone video, but just like I would take my action camera with me, I'll throw this little drone in my backpack and take it as well. But like Ron, like you just said, no surprises here. We got exactly what we expected. So yeah, I'd say that's a good thing. I am a little disappointed in the delivery times. If what we're hearing is real, I would have hoped that DJI would have been prepared to ship them immediately. And if anytime you make people wait, that's the same frustration that we often have with some of the Chinese resellers too. So that is a little bit of a disappointment for me. Other than that, we're all good, guys.
Yeah, I would say for me, no major surprises here. We ended up, thanks to my good friend up in Canada, we did find out quite a bit of this information ahead of time, and kudos to you, Lauren. I want to also say thank you to my wife, Cat77723, for showing up in the chat today. Thank you, sweetheart. I know you're at lunch, and I really appreciate that in the chat. I guess some of the, and to kind of echo what Marcus said about the delivery times, I got to think that DJI had learned its lesson before, as I've already said, about the Mavic Pro. And I'm hopeful that they will get these things shipped out sooner rather than later. But I also think, too, in line with what Lauren has said, this first batch or this first order that DJI has, it's a limited quantity. Okay. I think these have been already made and been ready to go for some time, but they haven't made enough yet. So I think that's why. And in fact, you probably noticed it said there, you're only allowed to order one right now at this time. You cannot order more than one. So if you wanted to do that, that was a little bit of a surprise. I would say this, I was very pleasantly surprised by looking at not only, Rick Smith had his up in the wind too, and Kelly Shores had his up in the wind. And that was a concern for me because here in Florida, we get a lot of wind down here being near the water, and it looked like it's held its own up there. I was pretty impressed with that. So it looks like a fun drone. I think a lot of people are going to be very pleased with it, as long as, and I think Kelly put it real well, as long as you're not expecting Mavic 2 quality, you're going to be pleased with this drone. That to me, that was one of the best things I think I've heard all morning about this. It's going to be a fun drone to fly. It's going to be a fun drone to travel with. It's going to be easy to use. That DJI Fly app, you can literally, put videos together through the app and get it out there to social media, which looks great. One of the questions that I have that's kind of outstanding is, and I haven't seen an answer, and I sent emails to both Kelly and to Rick this morning asking them if it has capabilities like the DJI Go 4 app of being able to live stream like on Facebook or YouTube. I haven't seen anything about that yet. So I'm kind of waiting on that. So I want to thank everybody for showing up here at lunchtime today in the chat. Really appreciate that an awful lot. And as Marcus said, to acknowledge these two gentlemen, the heads of state of ZinoNation, being with us today. Okay. And also, for our work and our dedication and our effort, please make sure you hit the like button. There are some folks out there that don't agree with that, but we'd like to think there are a lot more folks out there that like this than don't like this. So I want to thank my two excellent, outstanding co-hosts, Mr. Marcus Crawford and Mr. Ron Braun, who we're going to have to have them come down when the weather gets turns really nasty up north, and have them come down to sunny Florida for a few days, and we can go out to Reddington Beach, fly out the pier out there, and find a great place to eat and kick back and relax. So we're gonna have to worry about that. So guys, thanks so much. Thanks, Ron and Marcus. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining today. We're gonna have much more on this. Expect great videos from all three of us, because all of us have ordered it. So thank you all so much for watching, and remember, it really is a great day to fly. Take care, everybody.